Ancient Scandinavia, 9th century. In the heart of a brutal winter, where the icy winds of Iceland tore through the land and mist cloaked the mountains in an eerie silence, an epic was etched into history. This tale, passed down through the generations, had now been committed to paper, ensuring that its mighty deeds would live forever. The story was not just about gods and monsters. It was about the rise of new rulers who would reshape the very world they knew. At the heart of this saga was one name that would echo through the ages: Ragnar Lothbrok, a name whispered in fear and awe, a legend carved in the blood of his enemies and the bravery of his warriors. It all began in the year 814 with the death of Charlemagne, the last great ruler of the Western world. His passing sent ripples of chaos across Europe. His once mighty empire began to fracture, kingdoms falling into disarray. It was a time of vulnerability, and the world was ill prepared for the darkness rising from the north. The Vikings, at first a collection of scattered raiders, emerged as a force so terrifying that it would alter the course of history. They started with small bands of fearless warriors, but soon their ranks swelled into massive fleets, their sails darkening the skies as they surged toward unsuspecting lands. Among these fierce marauders, there was one who would become the very embodiment of fear and myth: Ragnar Lothbrok. A warrior, yes, but also a strategist whose mind burned with the fire of victory. Ragnar's name would become inseparable from the first great naval assault that would shake the foundations of Europe. In 845, Ragnar led a mighty raid against the kingdom of Charles the Bald. A fleet of over 100 longships, packed with 5,000 warriors, descended on the banks of the Seine River like a storm from the heavens. These ships, sleek and fast, cut through the water like knives, bringing death and destruction in their wake. With ruthless efficiency, they laid waste to everything in their path, leaving nothing but fire and ruin. The ancient texts speak of Ragnar's genius in battle. With the element of surprise and unmatched strategy, Ragnar crushed the Frankish army, and the mighty city of Paris, a jewel of Europe, was at his mercy. But this was no simple raid. It was a calculated conquest. Ragnar's Vikings spared the city in exchange for vast sums of gold and silver, but the mark of their presence was forever branded into the city's soul. Ragnar's fame spread like wildfire. When he returned to Denmark, laden with treasure, his name was on the lips of kings and peasants alike. But glory does not sit easily on a warrior's shoulders. The lure of battle was too strong, and soon Ragnar set sail again, leading more raids, conquering more lands, and building a legend that would never die. Yet it was his tragic end that would etch Ragnar's name into the annals of myth. Captured by his enemies, Ragnar was thrown into a pit of venomous snakes, a brutal execution fit for the gods. But even in his death, Ragnar was no mere mortal. With his last breath, he cursed his captors, and his sons, the very sons who would inherit his legacy, vowed to avenge their father's cruel fate. Ivar the Boneless, Björn Ironside, Ubba, and Havard, Ragnar's sons, became legends in their own right. Their names spread across Europe like a storm. With their vengeance, they transformed their father's death into a fire that would consume the kingdoms of Europe. Ragnar Lothbrok was more than a man. He was an idea, an era, a force of nature that would shape the Viking world for centuries. Whether the tales told of him were all true or not, one thing is certain: his name will forever stand as a symbol of Viking might, courage, and the unyielding will to conquer. So if you seek stories of gods and men, of warriors and kings, then follow me into the depths of history. There we will continue to uncover the tales of those whose legacies endure, long after the world has forgotten their names. Subscribe to my channel to ensure you never miss another legendary story. Let the epic sagas continue.